It's the middle of January in 2019. My then girlfriend Parisa and I are driving back to our Airbnb in Marfa, Texas, where we're celebrating my 38th birthday. It's a cold, blustery winter night in the high desert. After spending some time checking out the town, we're both ready for bed and looking forward to an early start the next morning when we're planning to explore Big Bend National Park. So we walk up to the front door of the Airbnb, and I reach into my jacket pocket for the house key, and I don't have the house key. And then Parisa checks her pockets, and she also doesn't have the house key. At this point, Parisa and I have been dating for about 6 months, and we fell in love pretty quickly, in part because we had a lot of fun together. But lately it's been more fights than fun, and it feels like the smallest things quickly escalate into slamming doors and shouting matches. So this trip to Marfa for my birthday is a chance for us to get away from our day-to-day life in California and try to have some fun together again. So I have one rule, or one goal for our time in Marfa: no fighting. But here we are. It's 11 o'clock at night. It's freezing cold, and we are locked out of our Airbnb. And obviously, someone lost the house key. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't me. But I remember the goal that I have for our trip, and so I try to remain calm. And I very nicely ask Parisa to please check her pockets and purse one more time. She always has a million things in her purse, and I'm pretty sure the key is in there somewhere. So she checks, and there's no key. So we scour the rental car and the sidewalk and the driveway, and we retrace our steps back into town, and we ask bartenders and the guys that we played pool with and the cashier at Dairy Queen. No one has seen the key. So obviously, things are not going that well, but we're not fighting. We're not blaming each other, at least not out loud. And it feels like we're kind of a part of a team, like this is a problem that we're trying to solve together, which hasn't really been the case lately. So after a series of phone calls, we're finally able to track down a local locksmith named Charlie, who sounds like the oldest person alive, and who also, surprisingly, Parisa is able to convince to get out of bed at 1 in the morning and come and help us. So things are moving in the right direction. Charlie gets lost a couple of times on his way to the house, and every time he gets lost, he calls and he asks, "Are you toward town or away from town?" And we don't know, because we don't know where he is. So while we're waiting for Charlie to show up, I probably for the 10th time, I asked Parisa to please check her purse and her pockets. She ignores me. The tension is mounting. So after about an hour, Charlie, he finally shows up. And now Charlie is 84 years old. He's an old guy. And he apparently doesn't see very well when he drives at night, which is why it took him so long to find us. Parisa and I feel terrible, that we got this poor guy out of bed at 1 in the morning, but Charlie doesn't seem to mind. He grabs his tools, and we go over to the front door, and he takes a look at the lock, and he says, "Oh, that's one of those smart locks." Charlie apparently has only picked 2 of these locks in his lifetime. And again, he's been alive for a really long time. So Charlie, he tries anyway. He is kind of mumbling to himself, and he rams the file that he has into the deadbolt. And after what felt like an eternity of unsuccessful tries to pick this lock, Charlie whips out a ring of keys. And he tells me There's 2 keys on this ring that randomly unlock doors. At this point, I lose all hope and I start thinking about which window I'm going to break. And of course, the keys don't work. And I thank Charlie and I tell him, I really appreciate that you came out and tried. We're just going to sleep in the car tonight and we'll figure out how to get into the house tomorrow morning. But Charlie is not ready to give up. So he starts going around and he starts checking all of the windows. And I'm like, Charlie, I did that a long fucking time ago. The windows are all locked. But to my surprise, Charlie finds an unlocked window. And he grabs his file and he pops the screen off. And just like that, we're back in the house. So we thank Charlie profusely, and finally back in our cozy Airbnb, we start getting ready for bed, and I take off the big winter jacket that I had been wearing, and I go into the bathroom to brush my teeth. And when I pick up the toothbrush and I move my arm up to my mouth, my hand grazes against the breast pocket of my shirt. And I hear a slight jingle. I stare at myself in the mirror, and I flash back to all of those moments throughout the night when I had checked my pockets and realized that I had missed one. And then I think about all of the times that I'd asked Parisa to check her pockets. So I'm standing there in the bathroom for a minute or two, and I'm thinking about all the places where I could hide the key and then just serendipitously find it the next morning. Instead, with a fair amount of trepidation, I walk into the kitchen where Parisa is sipping on a glass of wine, and she knows by the look on my face. And so I brace myself for a fight that I know we're about to have. And instead of yelling, Parisa bursts out laughing. And soon I join her. Parisa and I broke up a couple of months after that trip to Marfa. And we never figured out how to stop fighting. But I'll always remember that time we were able to escape from Marfa. And she had every right to be angry with me and chose to be loving instead. Thank you.